So we didn't start as a contemporary Korean restaurant as such.
Yeah.
We are all Korean team, but we didn't plan it as such. But because nobody knew us, basically, we don't have a big names behind us, or ex-Michelin, or ex-Petit, or whatever.
There you are.
It was really difficult at the beginning because nobody else wanted to work with us except for the Koreans. We had a full Korean team. And the concept basically was that Daero can do whatever he wants. Because I think in the end that's the reason why a chef becomes an owner.
But back then, we don't want to think about this is Korean restaurant. If the name on the Asian country or Asian something under the restaurant, I feel it wasn't cool in that sense. And then that time everybody's saying that they're modern Australian. But we are using the Australian ingredients and like Western cooking techniques and with like Korean mind or idea by Korean people. But we're still living in Australia, so we could say we are modern Australian.
It is perception. So the guests would come in and see the whole team is Korean. We speak Korean, and because the concept basically was the food from his childhood memory. A lot of it was Korean, of course, and we also found like that's some kind of interesting aspect that we can bring into this whole situation. So people just titled us Korean.
Like the customer came in the early time, like they call this restaurant with a Korean something, and then like after 3 months, 6 months, then we just thinking, let's do that way. We are Korean. We can't change anything.
We thought we would embrace it now.
So we say it like modern Australian with a Korean influence or whatever.
So before, before you were trying to come away from it, but now you've just entirely embraced it.
We weren't like actively trying to get away from it, but people have, so as a new restaurant, you have to communicate yourself to the guests so they can, if they don't see us come in and sit down and have the food, they can't know what we're doing, right? So you have to give it some kind of a category. And we thought, if you look at our food and how we do things, it has Korean influences, but it's not Korean, what people would expect. That happened a lot, that people would came in and say, oh, but you don't have rice.
You don't have kimchi.
You don't have kimchi.
They expected.
Because that's what people like to understand what they're getting into, which I understand, but they're like, oh, you're Korean, so why don't you have soup?
I'm sorry. I'm not good at it, maybe.
So we in Korea, you would call it probably modern Korean, but there wasn't a word here, so we couldn't use it. So we thought modern Australian probably is the best word, but we just realized people call us Korean anyway. And we do have all these Korean influences, so why not? If that makes people
too easy to understand,
and then bring more people in. Let's do it, right?
Absolutely.
So then, going from the childhood dishes, how did you bring in the fusion together to create this modern or contemporary menu?
When I talk about this like this, I feel like we didn't even have a concept. It was, Daero is trained Italian and French.
Oh, okay.
So
I started cooking when I was 17. I was go to the cookery in Korea and then learning the basic like Korean and Western and a little bit of Chinese, a little bit of the Japanese cooking in a year, and then I go to the college in the same school as the cookery, and then I have a chance to go to Italy because like that school has a kind of a scholarship thing in Italy, some Firenze, some in the mountain with a castle type of the hotel with a cooking school, and so I have a chance to go to Italy and learn, like find out how Italian food is beautiful. Then I just, after come back to Korea, I start working in an Italian restaurant, and then it's slowly connecting to the French and some kind of things. I only learn all the Western cooking technique.
So didn't even cook Korean at the beginning,
and then
Western.
I have a chance to come to Australia for a working holiday when I was maybe 24, 5. I was enjoying the Australia, like working in many restaurants and go to the Queensland, working in a farm, picking some bananas.
Oh, that's cool though.
come back to the Sydney and then working as the big Italian restaurant as the chef. And then when my visa expired, and then I go back to Korea and then working for Spanish restaurant, like
wow.
all the like
All the
in
European.
around there.
Yeah.
Then the Mediterranean around in the cooking I did. Then I got the job offer from the previous company working in a working holiday. The company get expanding and bigger, and they need more people. They offer me a job. When I was in Korea, and they just sent me a Facebook message.
It was a Facebook.
Yes,
It was like
yeah.
a sponsorship, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Just like we need a chef, and then I will put this like a sous chef in this position, and how much salary we will give. So, do you want to come? And then
You said yes.
And were you two together at the time already? Or?
We were dating.
yeah,
Yeah.
And we just came back from Thailand.
yeah,
We're at Starbucks. I remember the moment when you got the text via Facebook saying,
Yeah.
"Do you want to come to Australia and live here?" I was like, then he looked at me, "Oh, they want me to come to Australia." I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, and he was like, "Do you want to come with me?" What?
Do you know what they mean?
And I don't know where that came from.
Yes.
But then I had to think about my mom, and I was like, I can't change the continent.
Yeah.
Like you can't drop everything.
I
and then-
could have dropped everything, but I
Yeah.
was like, I can't do it if you don't marry me.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just I don't know how.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Where the idea coming from?
Did you
I
get
think-
down on one knee?
No, he
You're like, sure, let's
didn't.
do it.
No, you didn't.
It wasn't.
But he was like, yeah, okay. I was like, no, stop it. And
Yeah.
then it was more like, as a Korean daughter, you don't tell your mom necessarily everything, like who you are dating currently.
You tell her the
you,
best
Yeah.
bit.
You tell her just the best bits, and when it gets serious, then you tell her.
Yeah.
But still, I couldn't go to my mom and say, "Oh, mom, I decided to go to Australia," and not tell her that there is
Yeah.
a guy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's serious and it has a future and stuff like that, right? So that's where that came
Yeah.
from. So I basically forced him to marry me, and then he said, "Okay," and I was like, "Okay, let's."
I find that I
let's
did a good job.
yeah.
You ticked the box, didn't you?
Yeah, you did actually.
This is the thing we're most excited about. So the bread itself is, can you explain how you guys...
It's actually a rice cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's more like a bread than a cake. So it's not sweet in that sense, right? So
Yeah.
you don't have it as a dessert cake. It's fermented with rice wine, with makgeolli, and we serve it with a whipped and smoked butter with sea salt on
So
top.
good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So only this one is fermentation. It's become airy like a bread. Or
So it's
most of the rice cake, they just bashing it, or they just
becomes
steam it
sticky.
and making sticky,
Steam
or
it.
just cook like a steam in a cake shape and just the powdery type of cake, like something like that. But only type of the bread with the fermentation has got a little bubble in it. It's just, I think that's the same sense of the bread. So I start serving this one as the bread and butter.
I can definitely
Yeah.
taste the fermentation. It's a
Yeah.
little bit
Yeah.
sweet, I
Yeah.
think, as well. Yeah, it reminds me of like makgeolli, like rice
Yeah.
wine, even for Chinese. It's it's very familiar. You ready?
Cheers.
The best.
And when you bite into it, it's almost like you're about to eat mochi, but then it's crunchy, and it's got that
It's got a little
nice.
alcoholic flavor at the end. I think last time when we had dinner here, we reordered it like 3 or 4
Everyone
times.
reordered it.
Yeah, so good.
Kingfish and
It's kingfish with avocado puree, chili, radish, and our house vegan white kimchi. And as a sauce, it has makjang on it.
Yeah.
Makjang is soybean paste done with garlic and
garlic, chili, ginger,
So it's-
and
yeah.
little bit of- yeah,
it's
stuff like
spiced soybean paste, basically.
Yeah.
In Korea, there are different ways to eat raw fish. Some people do it with chili sauce, some people, so it depends on the region. And we like the idea of doing the fish with the
Yeah.
soybean paste instead of soy sauce or chili paste, which is much more like
Yeah.
common, let's say. The kimchi water is from that white vegan kimchi that we make.
when I developing this menu, like it's like winter season in Korea, they got the kingfish, like yellowtail kingfish is quite famous in Korea as well. So in that season, the big kingfish came, and their way of eating was like washed old kimchi. So red kimchi, wash in the water, get the like fermented the cabbage, and put some like raw kingfish in it, and has got like garlic and chili and stuff like that, and they eating like
Like a
that.
sum.
Yeah, like a
Yeah,
sum.
okay.
But I'll just like try to making as the restaurant dish that sense, like essence of the things, but put it in together. And avocado, it's Australian avocado, put them inside. We'll be making nice and creamy texture and tanginess from the white kimchi and all bits and pieces. Then put it in the one mouth. That's what I want to
This is modern Australian. This is you guys on a plate, basically, right?
Cheers.
Holy crap, that's really good.
맛있어요.
That's like flavor explosion.
There's so many flavors.
There's so many elements in it. Holy shit, that was really good. Kimchi water. Yeah, it's really refreshing, isn't it? You can see why people drink it off.
It's got like a slight sourness from the kimchi, but then when you bite into the fish and then the avocado, it's so creamy as well. And then it's got the texture of the crunchiness.
It's a little bit nutty as well, yeah. So nice and creamy, sort of like breaks up the sourness.
Prawn tteokbokki next. Tteokbokki is my soul food. Like for many Korean women, back then when we were teenagers, that's where we go with our girlfriends and it's what we eat during breaks and stuff like that. So tteokbokki is my soul food and I don't know if you did it because of that. I'll just say that.
You say yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the best story to say.
And so what we always try to do is to have a new interpretation of a certain dish that maybe everybody knows. So with the tteokbokki, normally you do it with the chili paste, right? But Daero basically had the idea of making a samba with capsicum. Basically,
Sweet.
But it's a similar form. It's chili paste, capsicum, maybe without spiciness. It's quite similar. It's the same category. So why don't I can change the ingredient to something similar to making different flavor out of it.
And also, what we believe Korean food is depth. It's food with a lot of layers and depth. So, 깊이, you say, 맛이 깊다. So, he added the prawn bisque to it to give it a bit more.
You can see a few pieces of the prawn up there, but we actually eating the whole prawn. We got the fresh yamba prawn, get it every morning, and then we peeled it up and head and skin and the meat go to this, but rest of all the parts we baking it, put it in the sauce, making the biscuit.
Because
and
one
we
of
put
those,
a lot of it, so it's the whole prawn is in the dish. So.
Another aspect of Korean cuisine in the end, I also think, is that you use basically everything of that ingredient. And that's what you do with Korean prawns as well. My favorite part of the prawn is the head.
Yes, same.
So, right? That's the right way to eat a prawn. we do the same with pork, we do the same with chicken. I think it's very, very similar in other Asian cultures as well, that you actually use,
all of them.
honor the ingredient by, if you slaughter, then you eat the whole thing and not get anything to waste in that sense. So that's something that we want to reflect in this dish as well.
Oh, prawny. See? That is ridiculous. That's so good. Here you go, Noel.
Holy food.
Can you pray?
The next one is a charcoal chicken. It's a very special dish to us because it was the first one that our current head chef Jay made all by himself. So there is no Daero's influence in that. I mean,
no
they discussed
exactly.
They discussed it and they developed to a certain point together. But it's Jay's dish. So it was the first one that he did with us. Jay started with us at the beginning. So he was our first sous chef, and now he's our head chef.
Amazing.
And he's going to be the group head chef once we are 3 venues. He's also becoming a partner, which is also really cool. And as I said, it's his first dish. I think it's really great. It has, we say spicy. It's not that spicy. It's not like, you eat it and you feel like, oh my God, this is 불닭볶음면 kind of spicy. Spice in Korea also has depth, right? Spice is always paired with sweetness, it's paired with the chili sweetness, and that's what Also, smokiness can also add to the spiciness to our dish. So that's what we tried to, or what Jay wanted to express with this dish. We wanted a chicken dish because a lot of people nowadays don't eat red meat, or chicken is the easier meat to approach. And people know Korean fried chicken so well, right? But that's not the only way we eat chicken.
Right.
So this is a grilled version of it. So there is an area called Chuncheon. They are famous for their 닭갈비. So
the
barbecue chicken.
Yeah, barbecue.
And it's more that kind of an homage chicken than the Korean fried chicken.
Yeah, this is actually the best one I've had. I've had it all 3 times, and this is really good. And then you said this was a revival dish,
Yes.
this last one.
Yeah.
Yes, it was for a very long time our bestseller. It's our beef short rib. They'll change it a little bit this time. So the sides always vary. Daero always gets to this point where it's, oh no, I want to do something different. So the side next time might be different. Many people know what kalbi is, especially within the Korean cuisine. It's a soy sauce based,
pear
marinated.
Beef short rib.
Yeah, beef short rib. And I think it's kind of a representation of what we do. Because Australia has such great produce, right? Especially for beef. It's a really good part of, or really good piece of meat in that sense. The sauce is very Korean, but still quite approachable because people here, they all know red wine jus or balsamic glaze, and it's in that direction in the end, right?
So how I cook it, I got a nice piece of the galbi, and we just clean all the skins, and then we marinate for the overnight, and the next day we put it in the vacuum pack. We cook in the sous vide for the overnight, and after that cool down, just before the serve, we heat it up into the bath, and we go into the charcoal, put some nice char with a little bit of sauce on top. That's a little bit, you know, the barbecue type of thing when it come out. Also the sauce what we using, we making same process of the red wine jus, just red wine, change it to the galbi sauce. So all the process we start from the bone, making the beef broth, and then we reduce, adding some sauce, and then reduce and making the texture and taste like this. So in Korea, we are not making the things like that. So we are quite mixed up, but we creating as the fine way we can create like this.
Juicy. Sorry.
This is our one of dishes, and it's our traditional Korean sweet punch, and we just made a bingsu with that taste, and then I just add an extra blueberry syrup. That's it, and then blueberry compote on top, and spinach oat ice cream, house made also, and tuile as a garnish. Is a kind of a French garnish, so yeah, make it beautiful.
Thanks, Chef. Thank you, Chef.
Thank you. Wow. Cheers.
Cheers.
Good. Whoa.
That was a breakthrough moment.
Takes time to decipher the flavor. The best one? Yeah, it's got like that sort of like a roasted rice flavor almost, right? Just for context, we thought we were done, and then Chef asked us if we wanted dessert, and we thought we got to set up again, so here it is.